Most of us like the opportunity to visit new locations in the world and explore new cultures, magnificent views, different cuisines and climatic conditions. Something perhaps not particularly close to the top of our new experiences list would be smells, although pleasant ones are always a nice surprise. Today we are looking at a mixture of places boasting rather unpleasant odours that are still worth a visit, and if you watch until the end you will hear about somewhere that, to the contrary, is known for particularly nice smells. In False Bay, at the back end of Cape Town, Seal Island is a hot spot for spotting and cage diving with great white sharks. Sharks are reliably found there because the island is essentially a huge feeding ground for them. This is because, as the name suggests, the island is home to over 60,000 Cape fur seals, who honk, argue and defecate around the barren rocks with a seemingly kamikaze approach as to what lies in the water beneath. Things can get very noisy and very, very smelly. It would be fair to say that Cape fur seals are not particularly into potty training. Geothermal activity can sure be mighty impressive, and Rotorua is full of bubbling pools and squirting steam events, many of which pop up unannounced, seemingly at random. But this quirky factor comes at a cost, with a permanent eggy stench, which can even stay on your clothes for days afterwards. But if you harness its wonderful natural wonders and resolutely ignore its natural pomp, Rotorua has managed to set itself up as the all-action hub of the North Island. In terms of geothermal oddities, Iceland is the New Zealand of the Northern Hemisphere. Geysers will spout and volcanoes throw up new islands every now and then, where craggy lavascapes are in evidence. But the country's most famous attraction has the same sulphury whiff that Rotorua in New Zealand has. The Blue Lagoon, handily between the airport and Reykjavik, sometimes reminds people of the moon, as the pitted, stark landscape is dotted with pools with an eerily milky, luminous blue colour. Some people will splash about in these pools before getting changed and heading off to the airport. As with other Moroccan cities, such as Marrakesh, Fez subjects the senses to a barrage assault. In terms of odour, some of this comes from the spices in the souks, but Fez is most notorious for its leather making, and the area around the tanneries Chawara stinks not just of leather belts and bags, but the rotting flesh and ammonia that are the less pleasant side of the industry. The tanning pits are seriously medieval style, and no air fresheners have been invented before or since that can mask the stench. You don't have to step too far off the bridge over the Douro River from Porto in Portugal for a whiff to kick in. Vila Nova de Gaia has a strong but sweet boozy smell, enough to feel faintly tipsy simply by walking through, as this place is essentially one giant port wine warehouse. The grapes for the fortified wines may be grown 120 kilometres upriver in the Douro Valley, but this is where the barrels and vats are brought for storage and maturation. Most of the port wine houses, such as Taylor's or Callum, offer tours of their facilities, followed by tasting sessions at the bar. Easily the best way of dispelling Paris's image as the city of love is to take your amour down into the sewers. Brilliantly, the city has cordoned off part of the sewer system as a museum, allowing nose-holding visitors to stroll along 500 metres of underground tunnels. This becomes a somewhat oddly skewed yet strangely fascinating history of the city as it traces urban sanitation back to the Roman times. Oh, how lovely. Along LA's Miracle Mile, the La Brea tar pits offer a gurgling, pongy taste of the prehistoric past. The former landowner is to thank for their rather unexpected presence, as he gave license to excavate and then granted the land to Los Angeles County on the condition that the tar pits were preserved and anything found in them duly displayed. The resulting dinosaur bones and other goodies discovered there can be found in the neighbouring Page Museum. A far more pleasant smell can be found somewhere else in France, where the southwestern town of Grasse is regarded as the perfume-making capital of the world. The surrounding areas are renowned for flower growing, with jasmine being the most notable money earner in the fields. 3 perfumeries are open to the public, operating tours with make-your-own scent experiences to boot, while the International Perfume Museum goes into more detail and history.